Today, 2 parcels got delivered. I've got a feeling there's going to be quite a few things in them. So, right. I think that is my poncho. I'm not going to use an eye to open it. They classify it as a must-have. It's an emergency thing, so you can't open it. There we go. It's classed as an emergency poncho. I don't get it for emergency. I get it so I can actually use the thing. It looked like it was made of reasonably sturdy material, not just a plastic bag. It's just a plastic bag. It's a thick plastic bag. Okay. It is basically a thick plastic bag, but it's a foil-lined thick plastic bag. It's the size of it I'm more concerned about than anything else. Yeah, it is basically a plastic bag with a hood and arm. It's a good size, but I wanted something that would fit over a Bergen. Yeah, that is a, you can see that or not. That is a good size. It'll cover my ass whilst wearing a full bag. And a whistle. Very, very high pitched whistle. Just to really piss off the rats in the attic. A full Bergen. So that's a good size. It's got a built-in hood. So, yeah. It's basically a foil-lined thick plastic bag. Basically. But that, and it wasn't exactly expensive. And it is, it's an emergency thing as opposed to what I can actually use every day. I will have to get, nerves. I will have to get something I can actually use on a daily basis. But that is a nice emergency thing. Careful scrunching it up or it's going to rip. Because it's a plastic bag with foil lining. But, for the sake of a couple of quid, I always try and put the price on screen, the stuff I buy. Price is what I paid, not necessarily what you will pay, because the prices on AliExpress are, that's mainly where I get stuff, are constantly changing. I don't want to force it in because it'll break. The bag weighs more than the poncho, but yeah, I mean, as an emergency, don't pop, do not pop. If it pops, it means it's not waterproof. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a thick plastic bag, melted to shape as a poncho with a foil lining. It might look like I'm just pissing it back, but I'm just squeezing it slowly, 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 so I can fit it more or less into the bag. I don't have to get it all the way in, really, do I? Yes, I do. Get in there. I can fit my balls in as well as my cock. Yes, yes. Is that out loud? Ex-German girlfriend. I told her she wouldn't be able to. She had to try. So that is the emergency poncho. That's actually quite nice. I mean, it was only not an amount of money. So I'm not going to use this for the intended purpose, simply because these plastic bags are too simple to use. Normally I keep the plastic bags, but not this time. Because they're too fiddly and thin. But fire lighters when I go camping. This is, for God's sake. Oh my God. It actually operates like a pistol with the motion. And it's got a safety, it's got the Glock safety release. It's meant to be a water pistol. Is it a water pistol? I thought it was a water pistol. I didn't buy it as a water pistol or as a 17 Gen 5 Ostpia 9x19. I think it's one of these little, oh yeah, there we go. There's a little thing there so you can put water in. I'm not going to use it as a water pistol. I'm not. It was a ridiculously cheap piece of plastic. I bought this not to use as a water pistol. I bought this Basically, because I think it's the right size for me to put my battery inside there. It's not quite big enough, but I can always hollow it out, put the battery in, tape it on to keep it in place. And yeah, might be a little bit too small. Essentially what I want to do is take out the end piece, put in my laser, a laser diode, that can go in there. I can take off this trigger and put in my trigger, my button in here, and modify this to be a laser pointer. That's the idea of that one. It was a very, very cheap thing. It might not work because it might be too small, but it's in my little bag of goodies, my laser experiments. This is a dog, it's not a dog bowl. Of course it's not a dog bowl. Not a dog bowl. This is actually, oh, is that a set? It's a set. Right, I think it worked out cheaper to buy a set of these bowls than it did just buy one. The thing is, because I was so impressed with my collapsible cup, silicone cup thingy, because it's so lightweight to carry, that I wanted to get a bowl for me food. But I wanted to get one that was at least 800 ml. And to get one of those, it would have cost double what it cost to buy these three. So you got the one, you got your little one. And the lid's very handy as well. So, little one. Very stuck together in here. Got a medium-sized one. And you've got the big one. The big one, I think, I'll put the details on screen. I think the big one is a litre. Because that is, I think it's a 1 litre, it doesn't say on there. But that is going to be my bowl for camping. My 3 litre cut in half thing works, but I'd rather have something a little bit more a little bit more of use. So that is going to be for camping. And if I had a life, I'd have more people, and I've used those as well. But yeah, that's great. It's 3 collapsible. I'll put them all up. They're very, for the price, and these are really, really cheap. So we've got these 3. I'm pretty sure that's a 1 litre. I'll have to double check. But yeah, because it's a silica based, not plastic, I think, then that means it should be able to handle heat. Because that is like your standard soup bowl size. But when I'm doing my noodles, it's a double portion, so I want the big one. But yeah, I'll probably give them a go later on. But that's, what's that? It's just, they're so, my old man brain still has trouble fathoming this sort of tech because it is so lightweight. It is very, very lightweight. So that's my alarm going off. So that is my soup bowls. To get just one of those, they call it a dog bowl. If you just have a little try, and it's actually not too bad because the ring keeps the heat in, so you don't get any burn from holding the rim. The thinner stuff, that you can feel the heat, because that's boiling water on with cold milk. So yeah, doing a good job. That's the medium sized bowl. So yeah, it works. I just one on its own, but to get just the one of them, it's the same price as getting all 3 of those, I think. So yeah, it's darn good value. That was that bag emptied. Another one. Another bag. And a few more bags. I'm trying not to trash it like this time. Last time I got so many things, they just bags all over the floor. Oh, yeah. This is attachments. So you can join wires together. I did buy some locally, but locally they've only got one size. Whereas it was cheaper to buy a pack. So you've got your little crimp things that you put your wire in and you squish it together, and then you can put your plastic sleeve on it and then heat this to shrink it together. So that's that. I've also got some connections for, this is basically dragging clips, so you clip on the things, so you can create a circuit. It's great for testing electrical stuff, which I'm getting quite into. I've got a few things of a similar theme here. This was a 2-in-1 thing, so that this all came together in this one packet. It was a case of, it was cheaper to buy the heat gun. You can actually use a lighter to heat up these things, but I figured for the sake of a couple of quid, or a few quid, get a heat gun. Now this heat gun is, I love my rechargeable stuff. I really do love my rechargeable tech. This is the heat gun. This one is actually mains operated, not rechargeable. I do have adapter sockets, because that's a European socket. It's literally a case of, it just blows out hot air. That's all it does. And it's, don't have a thing on me to test it. But okay, I've got to plug it in and just to give it a go, because I don't like saying I've got stuff and it works without actually trying it out. Give me one sec. I've got one over there somewhere. Be back in a sec. Good doggy. Is that going to fit? Sometimes these things can be a bit twitchy, the universal sockets. Like not fitting in tight. I may have to get another adapter for that. That doesn't seem to be fitting in tight. No, nothing. That might be the adapter not fitting. Yeah. Some of the adapters can be a pain in the ass. Where do my glasses go? Right. Yeah, some of the adapters can be a bit like they don't fit tight. That's not going in properly. That could be the adapter, not, I don't want to blame the heat gun if it's that adapter, because some of the adapters can be a pain in the ass. I've got 2 of these, 3 of these. I'll go and try another one. Okay, with these adapters, they're like pennies each. But the thing that grips it, the little piece of metal deep down inside, you can see that in there, it needs to be squished together a bit more, because otherwise it's not a tight enough fit for some of these. But it works. Yep. Yep, that works. I'm not going to show you on the actual things, but yep, that works. So yeah, the heat gun works, that's great. The issue is these adapters, they are a little bit twitchy, because, not twitchy dangerous, but twitchy as in the little bits of metal inside. What I might actually do at some point is take it apart and just squeeze those bits of metal inside closer together to give it a tighter fit. But yeah, heat gun works. The thing about the heat gun is that it comes with these. These are shrinkable sleeves. I've only used them once, and that was decades ago when they didn't exist officially. We used to use a bit of plastic and just wrap it around and then heat it up with a lighter. But these things, I'm not going to open the bag. What you do, you put this around your wire, and then you just heat it up with the heat gun, and it will shrink to create a nice seal around it. Feels like a tight seal, like a horny walrus. That's gonna go on. So I had a little binge on, something else there, yep, something else. I had a little binge on things that I will at some point possibly maybe need in the future. Instructions, instructions. This is just solder. I've got a soldering gun I bought, haven't used it yet, but I'm getting into my laser tech, so I'm going to need all this stuff, even though I got damage to my nerve tendon ligaments, so doing stuff is going to be difficult, but solder, cheap, very, very handy. It's like a lot of things in life, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So far, everything is as ordered. I was expecting the Poncho to be a bit on the cheap and cheerful side. Oh, this is, wow, that is not what I expected. I noticed it said cloth. What I wanted was insulation tape. Well, it's what they call in this country installation tape, and it's I don't know how many electrical tape. Is another word for it. It's it's that sort of thickness, that round. You wrap it around when you're doing your electrical stuff. This I thought was the same. It's cloth type. It's the same kind of thing. I'm gonna find the end of it so I can open it. Is there an end of it? There's an end, I think. It's sticky. So it's cloth. I think it's basically, yeah, there you go. So it's adhesive. It's the same kind of thing, electrical tape, but it's a cloth material, and it's meant to be heat resistant as well. And I got, what's that, 10? Yeah, 10 rolls of that. Another thing that it was just a couple of quid, and it's something that is very handy to have and very fucking frustrating if you don't have it and you need it. So yeah, that is that. La, la, la. Right, one thing left of my little gizmos I was getting. Quite a bag I'm going to keep because bubble wrap. I got a massive bag of these bubble wrap things. Basically because they're always handy for packing stuff. Like if you want to move house, you've got a few fragiles, you want to chuck them in. Or if you get bored and want to crawl into the giant bag and have a play. I mean, So this is a crimper. So when you got your... I've never actually used one. Wow, that's freaky. And there's no instructions, are there? Of course not. Oh, well, I can go to YouTube. That feels weird. I have to go to YouTube to have a look. This is a crimper wire cutter thingy thing, what you call it. So what you do here, you've got your things so you can strip your wires. You've got here so you can strip your wires. That's a weird wall plug-in thing looking there. But it's mainly I got it is so that when I'm putting these things on, yeah, you see the end bit where the wire comes in, if you can see it on there, the wire goes in the tubey looking end of it, and then you use that to crimp it tight. However the hell this thing works, I've got no idea. Or I could just use that down there and just, just crush it. You're basically crushing the metal to grip the wire. So I figured I may as well get, these things are quite cheap. And all else fails, it's a hammer. But yeah, that's a crimper tool. So I've got enough now where I can actually, when my brain is in the right place. Brine, I was looking at brine products, using brine, which is basically salt water, to generate electricity, which is going to be very handy for we do get an island. Anyway, so that is my haul of many wonders. So yeah, that's a nice variety of stuff. So I got because these clip things, alarm again, food is definitely done. This is very handy because they're small, so I can actually attach the laser diode to the batteries and different batteries to see whether or not they're going to actually function. So yeah, ta-da!